From the Oklahoma newsroom, this is an OSU update. I'm Jenny Carlson here with Jacob Unruh, OSU beat writer. Jacob, Calving Bundage, a guy that before the season we really thought was going to be, instrumental to this Oklahoma State defense, hasn't played a snap yet for the Cowboys this year. And Mike Gundy was asked earlier this week about him and whether he might play this year. What's the status right now of the linebacker?
It's still kind of up in the air in a way. They expect him to redshirt at this point because he was a senior, but he's not used his red shirt, so they expect him to come back next season at this point, play in the final 4 games, whatever that be, if possible. But they're not even expecting that. Gundy raised the question, is it beneficial to have him back? And not just for the team, but he's talking more physically. Is it physically beneficial for him? There's a risk of a re-injury to his back, having a setback. Also, he hasn't done anything since August, or maybe even before that. So physically, how great is he right now? Is he in great shape? It's going to take 2 weeks, Gundy said, at least, if not a month, to get him in game shape. Yeah,
and I guess the other part of the equation that's sort of, not even dependent on Calving Bundage is they're getting pretty good play out of their linebackers. Malcolm Rodriguez probably heading that list right now.
Yeah, Malcolm gets Big 12 Defensive Player of the Week the same time this comes out about Bundage. How do you knock that? I think he had, 11 tackles again the other day. Obviously, the game-winning pick 6. Yeah. He's been one of the most consistent players on defense for the Cowboys this year. He's one of I think he's the team leader in tackles at this point. He gets the ball so well. He might struggle with some of the bigger blockers that he has to go around and stuff, but he does everything else so well. He can cover, he can do whatever you need to do. It's really worked out this linebacker core. With Amen Agbagbamiga's played really well. Devin Harper's emerged. You've got some guys there that have really emerged this season in Bundage's absence.
Yeah, and if they weren't playing as well as they are at that position, you might think, well, maybe you get Bundage back in there, maybe he could play 4 or less games and still redshirt, but might not be necessary. And it's an interesting point because the confidence of this defense, we saw it get a little bit beat back in some of those tougher games, but now to get those 3 interceptions at the end of the game, to have the game winner, how does that impact how this defense feels about itself right now?
I think they feel like they're hoping to turn a corner. They thought that against Kansas State, and then they had the setback at Tech, they had the setback against Baylor in the second half each time. This time they closed it out. I think this is the growth of this defense. They've had an improved pass rush lately. Guys like Trace Ford, Tyler Lacey returns and really had an impact up front the other day. And then you had Colby Harvell-Peel, 6 pass breakups, a school record. They had 11 pass breakups total the other day, which was incredible. They feel like that they've been underrated, they've been overlooked, and they're really starting to kind of answer that and want to really prove different.
Obviously what they did at Iowa State is the proof, but that K-State win looks a little bit better with allowing 13 points to the Wildcats. That looks better and better after what K-State did on Saturday against Oklahoma. We'll see if that confidence carries over against TCU on Saturday up in Stillwater, 2:30 kick for the Cowboys. Be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at oklahoman.com and every day in the Oklahoman.